We can turn the page to Week 15.
Good time to be a Cowboys fan. The Dallas Cowboys, impressive here tonight.
Boom! Before we get the previews for Week 15 going, let's gander at the results from TPS versus the world in Week 14. It was a bloodbath across the board. The TPS experts led the way, finishing 7-8, but botched the lock of the week. The Madden simulation went 6-9, and in last place for the week, but still leading the way for the year, the world finished 5-10. So with those numbers factored in, here are the season standings. TPS 117-91, Madden simulation 99-109, and the world settles in at 132-76. So that means there's only going to be one lucky winner taking home some TPS bucks this week. And that winner is Nathan Garfield 1, who called the Broncos would have the most sacks and nailed that figure too, guessing that they'd finish with 6. So, with that out of the way, we are now on to Week 15, where, of course, there will be another chance for y'all to take home some TPS bucks. Remember, if you want to be the next lucky winner to take home a prize, all you have to do is 1. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel, 2. Like this video, and 3. Comment below with which running back will lead the league in yardage in the week, with the exact number as a tiebreaker. So with all that out of the way, let us now get into the action. Los Angeles Chargers versus Las Vegas Raiders. The Chargers are headed to Sin City to square off with the Raiders in a matchup between two teams that suffered crushing losses in Week 14. The public thinks that the Chargers win this one, but the votes are only split 64-36%. The Madden machine, however, thinks that the Raiders take this one easily 38-10. Well, the TPS team is siding with the simulation here. Brandon Staley has absolutely wrecked what was once a talented Chargers team. The Raiders take this one 17-10. Minnesota Vikings versus Cincinnati Bengals. Fresh off their thrilling 3-0 win against the Raiders, the Vikings are headed to Cincy to face a Bengals team that secured a huge win over the Colts last week to put them firmly back in the hunt for one of the final AFC playoff spots. 80% of the public thinks that Jake Browning and the rest of that talented Cincinnati offense is just too much for Minnie to handle. The Madden simulation is aligned with this pick too, predicting a 23-21 win for Cincy that is secured when Nick Mullins' Hail Mary to Jordan Addison comes up 15 yards short of the end zone. And you know, our experts are also riding with Browning and co. in this one. Minnesota's hand is out of rabbits, and the Bengals are simply a way more complete football team. Final prediction, Cincinnati 27, Minnesota 14. Pittsburgh Steelers versus Indianapolis Colts. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been absolutely reeling as of late and are headed to Lucas Oil Stadium to face a Colts team that needs a win to keep pace in the AFC playoff race. 75% of the public thinks that Shane Steichen will get his team ready for this one and take care of business at home. And the Madden simulation agrees, predicting a 24-14 win for Indy. But you know, our experts are seeing this one going differently. The Steelers are just one of those teams that you can't count out as an underdog. Tomlin's gang takes this one 16-13. Denver Broncos versus Detroit Lions. The Denver Broncos are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now and are headed to the Motor City to face a Detroit Lions side that has been riding the struggle bus as of late. The world is extremely split on this one, but still slightly favoring Detroit 52-48%. The Madden machine is predicting that the Lions win this one 24-17 and seal it in true Dan Campbell fashion by converting a 4th and 1 with a Jahmyr Gibbs run. Our experts aren't sold though. The Broncos now have an outside chance at winning the AFC West, and Sean Payton will have his team ready to go. Denver capitalizes on Detroit's weak defense and takes this one 27-24. New York Giants versus New Orleans Saints. Fresh off their big Monday Night Football win, Tommy DeVito and the Giants are headed to the Big Easy to face off against a Saints team that is looking to gain ground in a crowded NFC South race. 81% of the public are backing the Saints in this one, disrespecting the Giants' recent win streak. The Madden simulation, on the other hand, thinks that the Giants win 38-35 on a Randy Bullock game-winning field goal. And you know, the TPS pickers are right there with the computer on this one. We're seeing New York taking this by a final score of 24-16. Chicago Bears versus Cleveland Browns. Falcons. The Chicago Bears pulled off a huge upset Week 14 against the Lions and will look to play spoiler again this week against a Browns team that's looking to sneak its way into the AFC playoffs. 77% of the public thinks that Joe Flacco has enough magic left in that right arm to get this W. But the Madden simulation is predicting a 10-9 Chicago win that snaps shut with a game-winning field goal from Cairo Santos. TPS experts think that Cleveland takes care of business in this one, though, winning by a final score of 34-27. Atlanta Falcons versus Carolina Panthers. The Atlanta Falcons are headed to Charlotte to face the Carolina Panthers in what will almost undoubtedly be the least entertaining game of the weekend. 89% of the voters think that Atlanta knocks off Carolina, but the Madden simulation sees it going a bit different. Eddie Pinheiro nails a game winner to give the Panthers their second win of the season, 24-21. The TPS pickers are siding with technology on this one. Atlanta is reeling and Carolina has to win another game eventually, right? So our final prediction, Panthers 24, Atlanta 21. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Green Bay Packers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got a big win Week 14 and are headed to Lambeau Field to face a Packers team that was stunned on Monday night by the New York Giants. 76% of the public are backing Green Bay here. As is the Madden simulation, which predicted a 31-15 win for Jordan Love's squad. Our team isn't sold though. Green Bay is still mighty young across the board, and the Bucs are going to take this one 30-24. New York Jets versus Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins had a tough showing on Monday Night Football this week, and they'll look to pick themselves up against a somewhat revitalized-looking visiting Jets team. The public wasn't swayed by last week's results, though. 90% of the votes came in favor of the Dolphins. The Madden simulation also thinks that this one is all Miami, and it's predicting a 56-13 final. And yeah, our team of pickers are with the consensus on this one. Zach Wilson has yet to prove that he can string together 2 consecutive professional caliber performances. So we're seeing that Miami takes this one with relative ease, 33-14. Kansas City Chiefs versus New England Patriots. The Kansas City Chiefs took a back-breaking L against the Bills this past week and are now headed to Foxborough to face the Patriots. 80% of the voters think that Patrick Mahomes exacts his anger against the referees on the Patriots and takes care of business on the road. And yeah, the simulation agrees, as it's predicting a 45-24 win for Andy Reid's crew. And yeah, our experts are aligned on this one. Final prediction, Kansas City 30, New England 13. Houston Texans versus Tennessee Titans. The Houston Texans had a tough showing in Week 14, but will look to right the ship in Music City against the Titans. 84% of the public have voted backing the Texans. But the Madden simulation thinks that the Titans secure their second consecutive win, 27-20, which is sealed by a late-game pick by Amani Hooker. Well, our experts aren't exactly sold on this last season push by Tennessee. Houston will bounce back from its embarrassing output against the Jets and take this one by a final score of 24-20. San Francisco 49ers versus Arizona Cardinals. Lock of the week. The San Francisco 49ers are back on top of the world and playing ridiculously good football as of late. Week 15, they head out to the desert to face a 3-10 Cardinals team that's coming off its bye. The public is all over SF in this one. 93% of the votes came in backing Brock Purdy and the boys, even if the Madden simulation is predicting a close game. The machine previewed a 34-28 win for the 49ers that is officially secured when a Kyler Murray Hail Mary falls futile, hits the ground, and ends the game. The TPS experts are with the consensus on this one, and we're feeling pretty good about this pick. In fact, we're feeling so good about it that we're making the 49ers our lock of the week. San Francisco cruises to a 42-10 win on the road. Washington Commanders versus Los Angeles Rams. The Washington Commanders got a much-needed respite on the bye this week and are headed out to the City of Angels to face a Rams team that's coming on strong in the second half of the season and looking to secure a playoff spot. The public is all over the Rams in this one, with 90% of the votes backing Sean McVay's group. The Madden sim sees this one going sideways for the Rams, and it's predicting a 31-6 win for Washington. Our pickers think that the computer is getting ahead of itself on this one, though. These are two teams that are trending in polar opposite directions. Matthew Stafford has a big afternoon, and the Rams take this one easily, 34-21. Dallas Cowboys versus Buffalo Bills. Even with their big win over the Chiefs this past week, the Buffalo Bills still have their backs against the wall, and a daunting challenge with the Dallas Cowboys now coming into town. The world was actually pretty split on this one, but Dallas was given a slight edge, 67-33%. The computer thinks that it goes a bit differently though. Buffalo secures a 31-24 win when Dak tosses a 4th down incompletion off his back foot, while attempting to drive his team down the field for the game-winning score. The TPS team is siding with the machine on this one. Buffalo is talented and desperate, which is a pretty scary combination. So we see the Bills edging out Dallas 36-31. Baltimore Ravens versus Jacksonville Jaguars. The Baltimore Ravens had a thrilling overtime win in Week 14 against the Rams and are now headed to Duval to face a Jaguars side that is desperately needing a win about now. The public thinks that the Ravens will roll in this one. In fact, 84% of the votes came in their favor. The Madden sim, on the other hand, thinks that Jacksonville pulls off the upset, finishing out with a score of 28-25. Well, our pickers are siding with the fans on this one. Baltimore is too talented for this banged-up Jags team and wins easily 33-16. Philadelphia Eagles versus Seattle Seahawks. After getting dominated on Sunday Night Football in Week 14, the Eagles have to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and ship out to the Pacific Northwest, where they'll face off with a Seattle team whose playoff hopes are very much hanging in the balance. The world is back in the birds in this one, with Philly securing just over 3/4 of the vote. And the Madden simulation seems to agree, though it is predicting a close one. Jake Elliott pushes Philly ahead in overtime with a field goal, and the Seahawks' possession comes to a screeching halt when Drew Lock gets sacked on 3rd down, then throws deep incomplete to lose the game. Well, our experts are among the consensus on this one. It has been a tough few weeks for the Eagles schedule-wise, but this team is too battle-tested to falter with their stranglehold on the NFC East now down to essentially a 1-game lead. Seattle falls to Philly at home by a final score of 34-20. And so, here you have it. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Then add your own bold prediction down below for a chance to win some awesome prizes. And be sure to vote on next week's game starting Sunday night in our community section. Then, tune in next week to see if you won.